They beat this young guy to bully him without thinking of consequences. All they know is that the victim's father is weak and old, so he won't be able to take revenge, such that they accused his son of murder and send him on a trial. But they forget to look into the crime book of this old man. They underestimated his evil nature, so he made a bad example out of these bullies and liars.
저는 그 장면을 똑똑히 보았습니다.
Welcome back to Paramount Recaps. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. President Choi, a wealthy man, arrives at his son Woo Hyuk's school after Woo Hyuk was beaten in a fight. The teachers are concerned due to Choi's influence and wealth. A few days earlier, a loud noise from the science lab caught everyone's attention during break time. The students rushed to the scene, including the class monitor, Ko-an. They found Lee So-woo, bloodied, being thrown across the room by Woo Hyuk. Despite So-woo's efforts to defend himself, Woo Hyuk overpowered him and continued to beat him mercilessly. As Woo Hyuk had So-woo in a chokehold, So-woo noticed the horrified faces of the students watching, including Seo-yeon. Thankfully, the teachers intervened just in time to prevent further harm. So-woo was then taken to meet Han Kyung-moon, the head of the school's foundation. Kyung-moon questioned why So-woo got involved with Woo Hyuk, emphasizing that Woo Hyuk's father, who chaired the school violence prevention committee, would likely seek severe punishment for So-woo. Kyung-moon expressed his difficulty in helping So-woo in this situation. The next day, the anti-violence committee convened to discuss the case. Before the meeting began, the vice principal declared So-woo as the aggressor and Woo Hyuk as the victim. When So-woo was called in, he was nowhere to be found. Anticipating the committee's bias, he went to his classroom to clean out his locker, silently observed by Ko-an. As he left the school, students watched from the windows. So-woo took one last look at the school and raised his middle fingers towards everyone, including Kyung-moon, before 2 weeks later, on December 26th, Bi Jun-young arrived at school early. He noticed something sticking out from the snow-covered weeds and discovered it was a hand. Shocked, he brushed the snow away to reveal So-woo's dead body. Ko-an arrived and saw the same distressing scene. The police soon arrived to investigate, assuming So-woo had jumped from the roof. Detective O questioned Seo-yeon and Jun-young, with Jun-young struggling to describe how he found the body. The incident deeply affected both students, adding to Jun-young's already troubled home life and driving him to the brink of despair. However, he reconsidered his actions just in time. Seo-yeon, on the other hand, assured her parents she was fine, even managing to smile in front of her younger sisters. Alone in her room, she read online comments speculating about So-woo's death. Many believed it wasn't a suicide and that the school was covering up the incident to protect its reputation. One comment reminded everyone of the fight between Woo Hyuk and So-woo 2 weeks earlier. Detective O received a tip about the online comments and learned Woo Hyuk was at the station for speeding. During questioning, Woo Hyuk was uncooperative and called his father, who arrived with Kyung-moon to berate Detective O. Life gradually returned to normal after So-woo's funeral. One morning, Seo-yeon received a letter stating that So-woo's death was murder, witnessed by someone. Flashbacks revealed that the witness had seen Woo Hyuk and his group pushing So-woo off the roof. Park Cho-rong and Lee Yoo-jin, classmates, had written the letter and left it at Seo-yeon's house. Seo-yeon's mother discovered her reading the letter and took her inside. They showed the letter to Seo-yeon's detective father, who suspected it was left because of his profession. Seo-yeon mentioned similar accusations online and suggested tracking the IP, but her father sternly advised against it, promising to handle it. Seo-yeon's father met with the principal, showing him the letter and mentioning the online rumors. The principal dismissed it as student mischief, but Seo-yeon's father and Detective O insisted on treating it as a murder investigation. Meanwhile, reporter Park Han-man received an anonymous tip, a taped-together copy of the letter and a handwritten note. A former school guard, fired after So-woo's incident, had sent the letter to the reporter to complicate things for the principal. The next day, Seo-yeon and Jun-young walked to school together. At school, students were called for individual counseling. Jo Ran, under Yoo-jin's watchful eye, maintained the agreed-upon story. During her session with Detective O, Jo Ran described Yoo-jin as insightful and supportive. Yoo-jin surprised the detective by calling So-woo's death unnatural and noting the absence of a suicide note. Later, Yoo-jin and Jo Ran encountered Woo Hyuk and his friends bullying another student. They tried to avoid them, but the bullies noticed and pursued them. Sure spins around with rage, locking eyes with Woo Hyuk, who brazenly stares back. He dumps her bag on the ground, scattering her belongings all over the street. Then, he slaps her with it, and before leaving, he spits on her things, mocking that something stinks. Woo Hyuk's actions deeply hurt Ju Rai, who begins to cry. Seo-yeon quickly collects Ju Rai's scattered items and offers her a handkerchief. As they pick everything up, reporter Park arrives, introducing himself and handing Ju Rai his business card, suggesting she contact him when she's ready to make a statement. Seo-yeon later visits the counseling room, where she glimpses the detective's notes about Ju Rai and herself, pondering over them. Seo-yeon calls Seo-yeon, who meets with both girls, pretending to return a book to Seo-yeon. They chat like old friends, discussing their Christmas activities. However, when Seo-yeon asks Ju Rai about her Christmas, Ju Rai angrily retorts that they don't usually talk. So why the sudden interest? Seo-yeon starts to mention the incident with So-woo, but Ju Rai yells at her to shut up and leaves with Seo-yeon. Outside, a frantic Ju Rai is convinced Seo-yeon suspects something. Determined to strike first, she contacts reporter Park and agrees to an anonymous interview for the next day. At that moment, Park is busy trailing Woo Hyuk's father, questioning him about the allegations against his son. Woo Hyuk's dad grabs Park by the lapels, threatening him before throwing him to the ground. Park's colleague captures the entire scene on camera. Reporter Park then visits the school, where the principal grants him unrestricted access to staff, students, and Woo Hyuk's record. Park, surprised by their readiness, asks to interview the principal first. He begins by asking why the principal discarded the letter of accusation, showing the taped-together letter and note, which explain how it was initially sent to the principal, but covered up by both the school and the police. Shocked, the principal denies ever seeing the letter. At the police station, Seo-yeon's dad and Detective O discuss Park's upcoming broadcast, noting Park's reputation for being persistent. Detective O mentions the broadcast will focus on what really happened to So-woo and why his case was closed so quickly. Seo-yeon and her family tune in as Park reveals the murder accusation, prompting a flood of shocked messages from her classmates. In a pool hall, Woo Hyuk watches the segment about himself, detailing his violence against So-woo. The principal, cringing at his own incriminating interview, hears Park read the letter aloud. At home, Ju Rai watches with satisfaction, repeating to herself what she wrote in the letter about witnessing Woo Hyuk pushing So-woo to his death. Her triumphant moment is interrupted by a call from Seo-yeon, who is distraught over the situation and mentions hearing that the principal and Detective O might be fired. Seo-yeon wants to go to the police and testify, but Ju Rai harshly tells her she did nothing wrong. Seo-yeon disagrees, pointing out that their actions created victims. Their argument escalates into a fight, with Seo-yeon eventually pushing Ju Rai and running away in tears. As Seo-yeon crosses the street, a truck suddenly appears and hits her. Ju Rai, witnessing the accident, runs away in panic. The next day, Woo Hyuk returns to school to find everyone gossiping about him. As he appears, students take pictures, infuriating him until a friend pulls him away. Meanwhile, the vice principal faces a heated parents' meeting where they demand answers about why the school is protecting Woo Hyuk. Seo-yeon's dad tries to calm the situation, stating he's also a parent and explaining that they found no foul play evidence initially, thus ruling it a suicide. He mentions that the same accusation letter had reached the police, and a reinvestigation had already started before the media coverage. Seo-yeon's friends rush to their classroom to inform everyone about Seo-yeon's accident and coma. They confront Ju Rai in the school infirmary, accusing her of lying about Seo-yeon writing the letter alone. Ju Rai denies it, calling Seo-yeon cowardly for blaming her unconscious friend. The argument continues until Ju Rai claims Seo-yeon threw herself in front of the truck out of fear. Hearing this, Seo-yeon backs away in tears. Seo-yeon leaves the building and encounters Jun-young, who tries to talk to her. She tells him not to follow, but Jun-young recalls how Seo-yeon helped him when he was in despair. Determined to support his friend, he follows her and offers to shield her from onlookers. He covers her with his coat, hiding her from passing people. Later, Ju Rai visits Seo-yeon in the hospital, wearing a mask and surgical gown. She tearfully apologizes, but also wishes Seo-yeon would not wake up, believing that Seo-yeon's death is necessary for her survival. Back at school, school. A group of girls confront Ju Rai, accusing her of lying about Seo Yeon's involvement. They surround her, taunting and pushing until she collapses in distress. In the classroom, Seo Yeon stares at the empty desks of So Woo and Seo Yeon. Reporter Park catches up with her on her way home, saying he's conducting a follow-up investigation at her school. Seo Yeon, however, is unhappy about it, pointing out the harm caused to Seo Yeon and Ju Rai. Park argues he didn't cause their situations and advises her not to believe rumors, as they can obscure the truth. He mentions his plan to investigate the mysterious Jungdo Sentinel, an anonymous social media account discussing school events. Park wants Seo Yeon to help uncover the truth behind So Woo's death, but Seo Yeon suspects he has his own agenda and decline, heading home instead. Detective Oh approaches Woo Hyuk and his friends at a bar to chat. She asks about their activities on the night before Christmas. The boys claim they don't remember, but when she presses about who they were with, Woo Hyuk says they were together. One of his friends, Kim Dong-hyun, looks nervous. Dong-hyun tries to leave, but Woo Hyuk yells at him to stay. Woo Hyuk seems ready to get aggressive, so Detective Oh grabs him by the collar and demands to know what scared him so much that night. She tells him she doesn't believe he's capable of murder, but without an alibi, he can't prove his innocence. She leaves, followed by his other friend, Lee Sun-woo, but Dong-hyun stays back and whispers to Detective Oh that he wasn't with Woo Hyuk and Sun-woo that night and doesn't know what they did. Woo Hyuk calls out, and Dong-hyun has to leave. Detective Oh returns to the police station and joins Seo Yeon's father. Soon, they encounter a wealthy-looking woman demanding to see Detective Oh. This woman is Woo Hyuk's mother, furious that Detective Oh is bothering her son despite the case being closed. Detective Oh explains they must reinvestigate due to an accusation letter, which angers Woo Hyuk's mom further. She calls her lawyer, intending to sue the kids who sent the letter. At school, Kang Moon listens to the principal's concerns over the letter and his request to reinstate him. The school broadcasts an announcement with the vice principal, now acting as principal. The class ignores the announcement, prompting glares from the dean of students. Yoon Jin sees something on her phone and exclaims that Ju Rai could be getting sued. The dean barges in, yelling at them to be quiet and giving the girls demerit. Every time Yoon Jin tries to defend herself, the dean adds another demerit. Seo Yeon speaks up, but the dean clarifies they're not in trouble for talking, but for spreading rumors. The dean yells that it's all because of the childish students. The dean starts to leave, but Seo Yeon can't sit still. She stands up and calls the dean back, asking why she's blaming the student. The dean demands to know whose fault Seo Yeon thinks it is. Seo Yeon boldly answers that it's the school's fault. The dean looks menacing and tries to pull Seo Yeon out, but Seo Yeon frees her arm and loudly insists the dean speak here. The dean's anger boils over, and she threatens to take their phones as students start recording. The dean turns to Seo Yeon, accusing her of being the worst for receiving the accusation letter and pretending ignorance. Seo Yeon ignores the dean's outburst and continues questioning what happened to So Woo and why the principal dismissed the letter if it was real. She says they must find out themselves. The dean becomes furious and slaps Seo Yeon, silencing the room. She hits Seo Yeon a second time, which triggers a stronger reaction. Jun Young steps in to shield Seo Yeon, and chaos ensues with students trying to intervene or record the incident. Later, Seo Yeon's mom finds the video of the dean hitting Seo Yeon and rushes home to find out what happened. Though upset, Seo Yeon insists she meant what she said about investigating So Woo's case, hating that she did nothing while So Woo was mistreated. Her dad calmly states the adults should handle this, but Seo Yeon says this is the clearest she's ever thought and storms out. Xian also sees the video and rewatches Seo Yeon's declaration to uncover the truth about So Woo. He texts Seo Yeon as the Sentinel, suggesting they can discover the truth with factual evidence and debate. Seo Yeon and Jun Young study for their big plans, only contacting each other through messages. Seo Yeon works all night, and in the morning, her dad sees her efforts and looks proud, gently touching her shoulder while her mom walks out angrily. Later, Seo Yeon and her mom march into the acting principal's office to discuss the incident. Mom smiles until she hears the dean isn't coming to the meeting. She assumes the principal is saying it's okay for the dean to hit Seo Yeon and demands an apology. Ignoring the principal's attempts to calm her, she calls Dad, asking how to file for unfair discrimination with the Ministry of Education. Seo Yeon follows Mom out, confused when she sees Mom smiling. Mom reveals she was pretending to intimidate those who won't take responsibility, encouraging Seo Yeon and sending her back alone. Seo-yeon promises the principal to handle her mom if he does something in return. She hands him documents about a school trial proposal for So-woo's death. The dean who slapped Seo-yeon shows up and isn't excited about the proposal, but the principal silences her, not wanting more disputes. Min Seok enters and states he won't sit back on this issue. Not in a school where students get slapped for expressing opinions. The principal agrees to let them arrange the trial, but wants them to show the majority first. Requiring signatures from 500 students, Seo-yeon's friends regroup and start bribing fangirls with exo tickets and handing out consent forms. They get some signatures, but many students ignore their efforts. After a long day filled with rejection, Seo-yeon takes a break in an empty classroom, only to be surprised when Jae-hoon from Jang-duk Art School sits beside her. She asks why he's there, but he responds by asking about the trial preparation. Jae-hoon inquires about the defendant and how Woo Hyuk can be won if no one at the school will defend him. Eventually, Jae-hoon offers himself as an attorney to defend Woo Hyuk. Meanwhile, Jun-young showcases his skills at a PC bang, finishing games for people in exchange for signature. Later, Seo-yeon and Jae-hoon see a flyer for a Jang-duk Arts Rock Club concert featuring Jae-hoon as a special guest. They head to the concert and are surprised to see a room full of excited students. Jae-hoon has gathered signatures from all those students for the trial proposal. At home, Ju-rai receives a letter from the police station and opens it frantically. Horrified to see a request to come in as a reference, she screams and tears her room apart. Her mom rushes in and holds her, while Ju-rai screams that she saw Choi Woo Hyuk kill So-woo, questioning why she is the only one suffering. The next day, Seo-yeon and her friends go to the principal's office with assigned documents from most of the students. The principal now has to allow the school trial. Ju-rai's mom films a video in Ju-rai's defense, showing how much she has suffered, claiming her daughter has been victimized by the alleged murderer's family, harassed by the police, and tormented by her classmates, while the criminal remains free. In the staff room, the dean informs the teachers about the trial proposal, but reminds them that the club needs a supervising teacher. Although her call for a volunteer is met with grumbling, Teacher Kim steps forward. She takes the students to their new club room, which is dirty and full of garbage. In good spirits, they start cleaning up, laughing and having fun. In a flashback, Xion bursts into a room where So-woo sits tearing up papers. The room filled with discarded books and papers. Xion frantically asks what's wrong, but So-woo only stares wide-eyed. Xion wakes up from this dream and finds his father, Kang Moon, in his study. He tells his father he will participate in the school trial. Kang Moon advises him to accept that So-woo is gone, but Xion insists he hates the endless gossip about So-woo. The next day, Kang Moon meets the acting principal, who explains he couldn't stop the club from forming since the students had the requisite signatures and the damning video. Kang Moon drops a book on school policy in front of him, instructing him to find a way to prevent the students from learning more about So-woo. The trial club is busy with tasks and schedules. Xion arrives as they discuss their deadline to conclude the trial before the new school year in March. Seo-yeon starts to brief Jae-hoon on their roles, but he interrupts, moving the trial date up a week, pointing out the school didn't officially approve them and might shut them down while they prepare. Jun-young, Sun-woo, and Jae-hoon head to catch Woo Hyuk, but Jae-hoon ditches the others as they board a bus. At his usual hangout, Woo Hyuk scoffs at the idea of a school trial. While he's in the bathroom, Sun-woo accuses Dong Hyeon of suspecting them and telling Detective O something. Neither boy notices Jun-young and Sun-woo eavesdropping. Dong Hyeon reminds Sun-woo they ditched him the night So-woo died. Xion meets Detective O in a restaurant, warning her that Ju-rai might make a move via the media since she's cornered. He asks the detective to protect her from Woo Hyuk if Ju-rai provokes him, as he's sure to retaliate. Seo-yeon and her friends visit Ju-rai at her home. Though Ju-rai's mom is reluctant, Ju-rai lets them in. The three girls sit awkwardly with Ju-rai until Seo-yeon asks her friends to leave. Once alone, Seo-yeon remarks that Ju-rai sent her the letter knowing she would take action. Ju-rai pretends to be mute, communicating via her tablet. Seo-yeon asks her to be a witness at the trial. Ju-rai, fearing more censure, says she'll testify only if Seo-yeon drops out of the trial. Back at the club room, they see that Ju-rai's video has been uploaded on social media. The police and reporters see it too. The trial club convenes, and reporter Park joins them, wanting to report on the trial. Xion asks what's in it for them. Jae-hoon asks Park to make his coverage public, ensuring the school can't back out of the trial with public scrutiny. The team enjoys a meal together. Later, when Woo Hyuk returns home, his father rebukes him, slapping him and ranting about his actions. Stressed out, Woo Hyuk leaves and goes to a gaming club. He then receives a call informing him that his house is on fire. Rushing back, he finds his house burning. His parents are saved, but his his grandmother becomes a victim of the fire. The next day, the team reads news reports of arson. Jae-hoon sees comments on the school site blaming Woo Hyuk. Later, Woo Hyuk attacks Ju-rai's house, but Seo-yeon and Shion intervene. Detective Oh arrives and detains Woo Hyuk. Shion informs the club that Woo Hyuk will attend the trial as a defendant and won't cause trouble. Seo-yeon meets So-woo's older brother, T-woo, who insists So-woo didn't commit suicide and gives Seo-yeon evidence. The next morning, Seo-yeon rushes to school, surprised to see Jun-young waiting for her. The club selects jurors, including Wherein, despite her disrespect for their cause. Seo-yeon texts Ju-rai about the trial, but Ju-rai is unresponsive. The administration changes the timetable, leaving no time for trial preparations, and sends attendance reports home, causing parental backlash. Jun-young leaves home after being slapped by his mother and stays at Shion's house. Jae-hoon asks Jun-young why he supports Woo Hyuk, and Jun-young reveals he saw So-woo at peace before his death, suspecting someone else was there. On the first trial day, 5 jurors back out due to the text to parents. The trial proceeds with many parents, students, and Detective Oh in attendance. A mother disrupts the trial, but Min Seok, acting as judge, quiets her down. Seo-yeon presents So-woo's case, showing the fight with Woo Hyuk and using the accusation letter as evidence. Jae-hoon counters her evidence and questions Detective Oh, presenting the medical examiner's files. Seo-yeon's dad leaves after receiving a call, and Ju-rai sneaks in. Seo-yeon cross-examines Detective Oh, who is 99% sure of the investigation's conclusion. Seo-yeon shows movie tickets from December 26th as evidence, implying So-woo had plans. Jae-hoon objects, and Min Seok calls for an agreement. Seo-yeon summons T-woo, who testifies that his brother's death was a homicide and presents the movie tickets as proof. Shion questions T-woo about his relationship with So-woo. T-woo hesitates and admits he wasn't close to So-woo and that they disliked each other. Jae-hoon argues that sudden changes in behavior can indicate suicidal intention. T-woo describes So-woo as someone who provokes others and believes the case is a homicide. Woo Hyuk storms out. During recess, Shion finds Woo Hyuk and questions him about the fight with So-woo. Woo Hyuk claims So-woo started it. In court, Woo Hyuk claims he was drinking with friends on the night of So-woo's death. Seo-yeon questions Dong Hyun, who denies being with Woo Hyuk and reveals Woo Hyuk's alibi is a lie. Woo Hyuk tries to attack Dong Hyun, causing chaos in the courtroom. Woo Hyuk blames Jae-hoon for the mess. Seo-yeon argues that Dong Hyun's testimony proves Woo Hyuk's guilt. Shion asks Seo-yeon why she put Woo Hyuk on trial, and she mentions the accusation letter. However, it's revealed that Dong Hyun's testimony contradicts the letter. Ju-rai offers a detailed account of the crime, but demands anonymity and protection. Seo-yeon doubts the accusation letter's authenticity, angering Ju-rai. Woo Hyuk's dad hits him for participating in the trial. Reporter Park discovers that the Jang Sentinel's IP address was linked to So-woo's neighborhood and suspects So-woo was the original Sentinel. Woo Hyuk escapes his abusive father and tells Jae-hoon his real alibi, which involves getting drunk with Sunman. Dong Hyun visits Seo-yeon and discusses his alibi, but Seo-yeon finds a photo disproving Woo Hyuk's alibi. Dong Hyun refuses to testify again. Sunman confronts Dong Hyun, leading to a fight where Dong Hyun gets injured. The principal blames the trial for the incident. Seo-yeon and Jae-hoon argue, with Seo-yeon deciding to take her role as prosecutor more seriously. Seo-yeon goes to the rooftop with her friends to verify the accusation letter. She climbs under the ventilation ducts where Woo Hyuk and So-woo reportedly stood and hears a metallic clink. Ignoring protests, she walks on the ledge, causing the loose panel to make a clinking sound. Later, she tries to see Ju-rai, but Ju-rai's mom says they're moving away and Ju-rai wants no contact. Seo-yeon asks her to tell Ju-rai she believes her. The next day, during the second hearing, Seo-yeon is surprised to see Ju-rai in her school uniform at the back. When Ju-rai leaves, Seo-yeon chases her and apologizes for not believing her earlier, thanking her for attending the trial. Seo-yeon wants to keep Woo Hyuk out of the courtroom for Ju-rai's safety. Jae-hoon manages to keep Woo Hyuk in the classroom. With Woo Hyuk absent, Min Seok calls Ju-rai as a witness. She reveals she saw Woo Hyuk and 2 boys forcing So-woo on the ledge and witnessed Woo Hyuk pushing So-woo over. Seo-yeon presents evidence to support Ju-rai's story. Jae-hoon questions Ju-rai's testimony, but she insists it's true. The principal then appears to counter with information about a fight in the science lab. Jae-hoon argues that Woo Hyuk's father attending the committee meeting was against the rules, depriving So-woo of a fair chance. The principal leaves without responding. Dong Hyun, on crutches, is the next witness. Woo Hyuk goes berserk at his sight, and 3 students restrain him. Dong Hyun reveals that Woo Hyuk confessed to killing So-woo. Jae-hoon object, but Woo Hyuk's outburst is recorded by students. Min Seok takes a break, and Jae-hoon brings Sun Man as a witness. Seo-yeon questions Dong-hyun further, who reveals Woo Hyuk was angry at So-woo for calling him a bug. Jae-hoon returns with Sun Man, who testifies that Woo Hyuk's confession was a joke, noting Dong-hyun's tendency to scare easily. In a flashback, So-woo posts a photo with VIP using his anonymous account, revealing information about students who gained admission through money and contacts. Kang Moon, realizing the leak, forces So-woo to destroy the photos and transfer schools. So-woo throws his phone in a lake, but states the information is still in his memory. Kang Moon uses the fight with Woo Hyuk to suspend So-woo. Back in the present, Kang Moon monitors the trial closely, knowing Jae-hoon wants to expose the truth about his father. Seo-yeon brings a new witness, a man Woo Hyuk beat up a year ago, who was hospitalized for days after the incident. The Choi family's legal advisor offered money to Woo Hyuk's father to keep quiet and not press charges against Woo Hyuk. Now, in the present, the boy demands an apology from Woo Hyuk, but Woo Hyuk refuses, citing the money already given. Enraged, the boy pours a box of milk over Woo Hyuk's head in retaliation. Although Woo Hyuk is furious, he can't retaliate. Later, Sun Man informs Jae-hoon that he saw a long-haired man in Woo Hyuk's house on December 26th, meeting with President Choi. Jae-hoon is intrigued because this man might provide an alibi for Woo Hyuk. Meanwhile, Seo-yeon and her friends are determined to prove that So-woo did not take his own life. They receive a lead from T-woo, who hands them So-woo's phone, which contains 5 call logs from public phone booth. These logs reveal that So-woo had long conversations with someone. Jae-hoon meets with Woo Hyuk's mother, who explains that Woo Hyuk was with her at the hospital on the night of December 26th because she was injured by President Choi. Woo Hyuk will never reveal this publicly to avoid disgrace. Woo Hyuk's mother offers to testify in court, but Jae-hoon insists on finding another way to prove Woo Hyuk's innocence to avoid embarrassing him. Seo-yeon and her friends trace all the phone booths So-woo used the night he died. At one booth, located in an old man's shop, the owner recalls seeing a boy crying and talking to someone that night. However, when shown Woo Hyuk's picture, the old man does not recognize him. The next day, Sun Man shares a crucial tip with Seo-yeon's father and Detective Oh about Woo Hyuk's father. He reveals that President Choi abuses his wife and son and orchestrated a fire to scam the insurance company. Subsequently, President Choi is arrested for insurance fraud and domestic violence. Woo Hyuk's mother feels justice has been served. Back in the club room, Seo-yeon updates her team on the investigation. When she mentions the old man at the phone booth, Jae-hoon reacts as if he knows something but leaves upon receiving a call. Jae-hoon meets a depressed Woo Hyuk after his father's arrest and confesses to tipping off the police. Enraged, Woo Hyuk assaults him. Jae-hoon then reveals the abuse he and his mother suffered at the hands of his father, which led to his mother's death. He explains that Kang Moon adopted him after he testified against his father. This revelation calms Woo Hyuk slightly, and he leaves without a word. Woo Hyuk's mother wants to move away to escape the rumors surrounding their family. The trial team perceives the Choi family's move as another negative impact of their trial. Meanwhile, Detective Oh and reporter Park discover that the anonymous social media account is still active and that Jae-hoon was close friends with So-woo. Detective Oh learns from Jae-hoon's hospital records that he met So-woo during his psychological evaluation, and they became good friends. Jae-hoon logs into the anonymous account, revealing pictures of VIP files, likely taken from So-woo's computer. He leaves a message for Woo Hyuk to attend the trial the next day to prove his innocence. The following day, Woo Hyuk arrives at school, not in uniform, signaling he won't continue studying there. During the trial, Seo-yeon's father testifies that the man who set Woo Hyuk's house on fire confirmed Woo Hyuk's alibi. Seo-yeon cross-examines her father, but gains no new information. Jae-hoon lists the victims Woo Hyuk bullied, revealing a long list of names Woo Hyuk doesn't remember. One victim, Ju-rai, was locked in a bathroom overnight by Woo Hyuk, leading her to falsely testify against him. Ju-rai suddenly interrupts the trial, accusing Woo Hyuk again, but her hatred for him distorts her perception. She faints and is hospitalized, where she tries to convince Seo-yeon that she genuinely saw someone on the edge that night, but Seo-yeon no longer believes her. Depressed by her failure to implicate Woo Hyuk, Seo-yeon receives an anonymous message from Jae-hoon advising her to focus on uncovering the true reason behind So-woo's death rather than targeting Woo Hyuk. Determined, Seo Yeon searches for more evidence to support Ju Rai's claim. They discover footage from a car dashboard camera showing someone running at the school that night, but the person's identity remains unclear. The school administration complicates the trial by suspending students involved without warning. The dean threatens them with demerits, and the principal urges Seo Yeon to end the prosecution, arguing that Woo Hyuk's alibi is solid. However, Seo Yeon is determined to uncover the true cause of So Woo's death and refuses to stop the trial. Seo Yeon then confronts Jae Hoon about why he has special treatment and hasn't been suspended like the others. Jae Hoon is surprised to learn that his father, the school's foundation committee leader, is behind the suspensions. Jae Hoon confronts his father, seeking the truth about So Woo's death, but his father remains evasive. The next day, the trial resumes with most seats empty due to fear of school administration retaliation. Seo Yeon presents an old teacher as a new witness, who reveals that So Woo used the anonymous account Sentinel. Teacher Lee confirms that the school discovered So Woo's identity and threatened to transfer him over his posts. The vice principal, the next witness, admits everything Teacher Lee said and confirms that Kang Moon ordered So Woo's expulsion. Jae Hoon provides evidence from Jae Hoon's laptop showing the documents related to So Woo's expulsion. Kang Moon denies ever seeing these documents. Despite Jae Hoon's emotional plea, the old man from the phone booth identifies Jae Hoon as the boy he saw, shocking Seo Yeon, who now understands Jae Hoon's deep involvement in the case. On the final day, Jae Hoon confronts his father one last time, but gets no answers. Seo Yeon asks Jae Hoon to sit in the defendant's seat and explain his connection with So Woo. Jae Hoon confesses that So Woo was his best friend, acting strangely before his death. So Woo called Jae Hoon on Christmas night, expressing his intent to end his life. Jae Hoon tried to dissuade him through repeated calls, but his emotional turmoil from his mother's death rendered him ineffective. So Woo criticized Jae Hoon and his father, Kang Moon, for their actions. Jae Hoon, overwhelmed, left without persuading So Woo. The next morning, Jae Hoon found So Woo dead, but lacked the courage to check on him. Jae Hoon blames himself for So Woo's death, believing he could have saved him. Jun Young defends Jae Hoon, stating he has a good heart. Kang Moon arrives, confessing to his wrongdoing, including the illegal admissions and the pressure he put on So Woo to transfer. He turns himself into the police, and the principal is also arrested. The trial concludes, blaming the school for So Woo's death. Normalcy returns, and Jun Young and Seo Yeon begin a relationship. Seo Yeon's friend, Rang, recovers and returns from the hospital. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below with your suggestions for future videos, any questions you have, or just to say hi. Your feedback is super important to us and helps us create better content for you. Also, feel free to share this video with your friends, family, and on social media. It really makes a big difference and helps our community grow. You can follow us on Insert your social media handles for more updates and behind-the-scenes content. Thanks again for your support, and we'll see you in the next video.